Do you want to successfully complete the CompTIA A plus Core 2 exam? Then you're in the right place. Welcome to MyITCerts.com, where thousands of students have found their path to exam success. Our website provides completely free access to over 300 practice questions with detailed explanations and comprehensive study guides covering every exam objective. Everything you need for success on your first attempt for free. In this video, we will cover questions from operating systems, security, software, troubleshooting, operational procedures, and memory management. So, let's get started. 1. A small marketing agency is setting up 15 new computers and needs to ensure they can be centrally managed with consistent security policies. Which Windows edition is the minimum required to meet their needs? A. Windows 10 Home. B. Windows 10 Pro. C. Windows 10 Pro for workstations. D. Windows 10 Enterprise. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. B. Windows 10 Pro. Explanation. Option B is correct because Windows 10 Pro is the minimum edition that supports domain joining and group policy editor, gpedit.msc, which are essential for centralized management and applying consistent security policies across multiple computers. Option A, Windows 10 Home, is incorrect because Windows 10 Home cannot join a domain and lacks group policy editor, making centralized management impossible. Option C, Windows 10 Pro for workstations, is incorrect because while Windows 10 Pro for workstations would work, it's overkill for this scenario and not the minimum required edition. Option D, Windows 10 Enterprise, is incorrect because Windows 10 Enterprise would also work, but is designed for much larger organizations and is not the minimum required edition. 2. A graphic designer frequently works from home but needs to access their powerful office computer remotely to use specialized software. After attempting to connect, they receive an error message. What is most likely the cause of this issue? A. Their home computer has insufficient RAM. B. Their office computer is running Windows 10 Home. C. Remote desktop. Protocol is disabled in the firewall. D. The specialized software cannot run through remote desktop. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. B. Their office computer is running Windows 10 Home. Explanation. Option B is correct because Windows 10 Home cannot host remote desktop connections, act as an RDP host. This is a key limitation of the Home edition that would prevent remote access to the computer. Option A, their home computer has insufficient RAM, is incorrect because the RAM on the home computer doesn't affect the ability to connect to a remote computer. Even low-spec devices can run remote desktop clients. Option C, remote desktop protocol is disabled in the firewall, is incorrect because is possible, but less likely than B as the primary cause, since the error occurs on the initial connection attempt rather than after configuration. Option D, the specialized software cannot run through remote desktop, is incorrect because most software can run through remote desktop, and the problem described is with establishing the connection, not running specific software. 3. A user reports that their computer freezes completely whenever they open a specific application. As a technician, you need to identify if this application is consuming excessive system resources. Which Windows tool would be most appropriate to use first? A. Resource Monitor. B. Task Manager. C. System Configuration. D. Performance Monitor. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. B. Task Manager. Explanation. Option B is correct because Task Manager provides an immediate view of running processes and resource usage, making it the ideal first tool to check when an application causes system freezes. You can open Task Manager quickly with Ctrl+Shift+ESC and view the Processes tab to see CPU, memory, disk, and network usage for each application. Option A, Resource Monitor, is incorrect because while Resource Monitor provides more detailed information than Task Manager, it's not typically the first tool you'd use in this situation. It's better for deeper analysis after identifying a problem. Option C, System Configuration, is incorrect because System Configuration, msconfig.exe, is primarily used for startup configuration and boot options, not for monitoring real-time resource usage. Option D, Performance Monitor, is incorrect because Performance Monitor, perfmon.msc, is designed for long-term monitoring and detailed performance analysis, making it too complex for initial troubleshooting of an immediate freezing issue. Four, a recently installed application is generating errors, but not displaying helpful messages. You need to find more detailed information about these errors to troubleshoot effectively. Which Windows tool should you use? A. Disk Management. B. Registry Editor. C. Event Viewer. D. System Information. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. C. Event Viewer. Explanation. Option C is correct because Event Viewer, eventvbar.msc, is specifically designed to log and display detailed information about system and application errors. The application log section would contain error messages, codes, and additional context about the application crashes. Option A, Disk Management, is incorrect because Disk Management, diskmgmt.msc, is for managing disks, partitions, and volumes, not for viewing application error information. Option B, Registry Editor, is incorrect because Registry Editor, do-regedit.exe, is used to modify the Windows registry and wouldn't provide information about application errors unless you knew exactly where to look. Option D, and System Information, is incorrect because System Information, mscinfo32.exe, provides general information about hardware components and system configuration, but doesn't focus on application error logs. Five, a user complains that they can't see important configuration files ending in .ini and .cfg in their Documents folder. As an IT technician, which control panel utility should you use to solve this problem? A. File Explorer options. B. Indexing options. C. System. D. Folder properties. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. A. File Explorer options. Explanation. Option A is correct because File Explorer options contains the settings to show hidden files and file extensions. Specifically, in the View tab, you would need to check Show Hidden Files, Folders, and Drives, and uncheck Hide Extensions for known file types to make the .ini and .cfg files visible. Option B, Indexing Options, is incorrect because Indexing Options only controls which locations are indexed for Windows search and doesn't affect file visibility. Option C, System, is incorrect because System provides access to general system information and settings but doesn't control file visibility options. Option D, Folder Properties, is incorrect because Folder Properties isn't a standard control panel utility in Windows 10. Six. After installing a new application, a user discovers it can't connect to the internet, even though other applications work fine. Which control panel utility should you check first to resolve this issue? A. Network and Sharing Center. B. Internet Options. C. Windows Defender Firewall. D. Programs and Features. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. C. Windows Defender Firewall. Explanation. Option C is correct because Windows Defender Firewall likely blocked the new application from accessing the internet. You would need to check Allow an app or feature through Windows Defender Firewall and add the application to the allowed list. Option A, Network and Sharing Center, is incorrect because Network and Sharing Center would be useful if the entire network connection had issues, but since other applications can connect, the network itself is working properly. Option B, Internet Options, is incorrect because Internet Options primarily affects web browsers and system-wide Internet settings, not specific application connectivity. Option D, Programs and Features, is incorrect because Programs and Features is for installing, modifying, or removing programs, not managing their network permissions. 7. A user needs to configure facial recognition login on their Windows 10 laptop. Which Windows settings category should they use to set this up? A. Privacy. B. Accounts. C. Personalization. D. Update and security. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. B. Accounts. Explanation. Option B is correct because the Accounts category in Windows settings contains the Sign-in Options section, where you can configure Windows. Hello facial recognition, fingerprint recognition, pins, and passwords. Option A, Privacy, is incorrect because privacy settings control which information apps and Windows can access, but don't configure authentication methods. Option C, Personalization, is incorrect because personalization controls the appearance of Windows interface elements like the background and colors, not sign-in methods. Option D, Update and Security, is incorrect because Update and Security handles Windows updates, security features, and backup options, but not biometric authentication setup. Eight. A small accounting firm with 10 employees wants to set up their network to share files and a printer. They don't have a dedicated IT department or server. Which network configuration would be most appropriate for their needs? A. Domain network with Active Directory. B. Workgroup network with peer-to-peer sharing. C. Enterprise network with certificate services. D. Public network with limited sharing. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. B. Workgroup network with peer-to-peer sharing. Explanation. Option B is correct because a workgroup network is designed for small businesses without dedicated servers. It allows peer-to-peer sharing of files and printers, is limited to around 20 computers, perfect for 10 employees, and doesn't require specialized IT knowledge to maintain. Option A, Domain network with Active Directory, is incorrect because a domain network requires a server running Active Directory and is typically used in medium to large organizations with dedicated IT staff. Option C, Enterprise network with certificate services, is incorrect because an enterprise network with certificate services is unnecessarily complex for a small accounting firm and would require specialized infrastructure. Option D, Public network with limited sharing, is incorrect because a public network profile restricts sharing for security reasons and wouldn't allow the file and printer sharing functionality the firm needs. 9. After joining a company laptop to the corporate domain, A user notices they can no longer access previously shared network folders on other computers. What is the most likely cause of this issue? A. The Windows firewall is blocking access to network resources. B. The user's credentials have changed from local to domain authentication. C. The network type has automatically switched to public. D. The shared folders were encrypted with BitLocker. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer: B. The user's credentials have changed from local to domain authentication. Explanation: Option B is correct because when a computer joins a domain, users must log in with domain credentials rather than local account credentials. Since access permissions to shared resources are tied to specific user accounts, the domain user account doesn't automatically have the same permissions that were granted to the local user account. Option A, the Windows firewall is blocking access to network resources, is incorrect because joining a domain doesn't typically change firewall settings to block previously accessible resources. Option C, the network type has automatically switched to public, is incorrect because domain networks are recognized as domain networks, not public networks. And even if the network type changed, this alone wouldn't prevent access to previously accessible shares. Option D, the shared folders were encrypted with BitLocker, is incorrect because BitLocker encrypts entire drives, not specific shared folders, and joining a domain doesn't automatically encrypt shared resources. 10. A marketing department needs to install new video editing software on their workstations. The software requirements specify a 64-bit operating system, 16 GB RAM, and a dedicated graphics card with 4 GB VRAM. Which workstation is unsuitable for this installation? A. Windows 10 Pro 64-bit, 32 GB RAM, integrated Intel, HD graphics. B. Windows 10 Home, 64-bit, 16 GB RAM, NVIDIA GTX 1660 with 6 GB VRAM. C. Windows 10 Enterprise 64, 2-bit, 16 GB RAM, AMD Radeon RX 580 with 8 GB VRAM. D. Windows 11 Pro 64-bit, 24 GB RAM, NVIDIA RTX 3060 with 12 GB VRAM. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer: A. Windows 10 Pro 64-bit, 32 GB RAM, integrated Intel HD graphics. Explanation: Option A is correct because the workstation has integrated Intel HD graphics instead of a dedicated graphics card with 4 GB VRAM. Integrated graphics shares system memory and lacks the dedicated VRAM required by the video editing software. Option B, Windows 10 Home 64-bit, 16 GB RAM, NVIDIA GTX 1660 with 6 GB VRAM is incorrect because this workstation meets all requirements: 64-bit OS, sufficient RAM, 16 GB, and a dedicated graphics card, NVIDIA GTX 1660, with more than the required VRAM, 6 GB versus 4 GB required. Option C, Windows 10 Enterprise 64-bit, 16 GB RAM, AMD Radeon RX 580 with 8 GB VRAM, is incorrect because this workstation meets all requirements: 64-bit OS, sufficient RAM, 16 GB, and a dedicated graphics card, AMD Radeon RX 580 with more than the required VRAM, 8 GB versus 4 GB required. Option D, Windows 11 Pro 64-bit, 24 GB RAM, NVIDIA RTX 3060 with 12 GB VRAM, is incorrect because this workstation exceeds all requirements: 64-bit OS, more than sufficient, RAM, 24 GB, and a dedicated graphics card, NVIDIA RTX 3060, with more than the required VRAM, 12 GB versus 4 GB required. 11. An IT technician is installing specialized engineering software on computers in different departments. The software is available in both 32-bit and 64-bit versions. Which of the following statements is true regarding installation options? A. The 32-bit version can only be installed on 32-bit operating systems. B. The 64-bit version can be installed on both 32-bit and 64-bit operating systems. C. The 64-bit version can only be installed on 64-bit operating systems. D. The 32-bit version will perform better than the 64-bit version on all systems. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. C. The 64-bit version can only be installed on 64-bit operating systems. Explanation. Option C is correct because 64-bit applications can only run on 64-bit operating systems. This is a fundamental architectural limitation. 32-bit systems cannot execute 64-bit code. Option A. The 32-bit version can only be installed on 32-bit operating systems is incorrect because 32-bit applications can run on both 32-bit and 64-bit operating systems using WoW 64, Windows 32-bit on Windows 64-bit subsystem. Option B. The 64-bit version can be installed on both 32-bit and 64-bit operating systems is incorrect because 64-bit applications cannot run on 32-bit operating systems due to architectural limitations. Option D, the 32-bit version will perform better than the 64-bit version on all systems, is incorrect because the 64-bit version typically performs better on 64-bit systems, especially for memory-intensive tasks, as it can access more RAM and use 64-bit processing capabilities. A user needs to share files between a Windows computer, a Mac, and a Linux system. They're working with video files that exceed 5 GB in size. Which file system would be the most appropriate for formatting an external drive for this scenario? A. NTFS, B. FAT32, C. exFAT, D. ext4. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer, C. exFAT. Explanation. Option C is correct because exFAT is specifically designed for cross-platform compatibility while supporting files larger than 4 GB. It can be read and written to by Windows natively, Mac OS natively, since Snow Leopard, and Linux, with additional packages. Option A, NTFS, is incorrect because while NTFS supports large files, macOS can only read NTFS drives by default, but not write to them without third-party software. Option B, FAT32, is incorrect because FATR32 has a 4 GB file size limitation, making it unsuitable for 5 GB video files. Option D, ext4, is incorrect because ext4 is primarily a Linux file system and isn't natively supported by Windows or Mac OS, requiring third-party tools on those platforms. 13. A graphic design firm is purchasing new computers for their design team. Which operating system would best meet their needs based on industry standards? A. Windows 10 Home, B. Linux Ubuntu, C. Mac OS, D. Chrome OS. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer, C. Mac OS. Explanation. Option C is correct because Mac OS is widely used in creative industries due to its color accuracy, strong support for creative applications like Adobe Creative Suite, and popularity among design professionals. Option A, Windows 10 Home, is incorrect because while Windows can run creative applications, it's not the industry standard for graphic design. and Windows 10 Home lacks some business features that might be useful in a professional environment. Option B, Linux Ubuntu, is incorrect because while Linux Ubuntu can run some creative applications, it has more limited support for professional design software like Adobe Creative Suite. Option D, Chrome OS, is incorrect because Chrome OS is primarily designed for web applications and lacks support for professional graphic design software that requires local installation. 14. A company is deploying 50 identical computers in a new office. Which installation method would be most efficient for this scenario? A. Clean installation from USB drives on each computer. B. Image deployment over the network. C. Upgrade installation from the previous OS. D. Recovery partition restoration. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. B. Image deployment over the network. Explanation. Option B is correct because image deployment over the network allows for rapid, simultaneous installation of identical configurations to multiple computers. This method is specifically designed for mass deployments in business environments, saving significant time compared to individual installations. Option A, clean installation from USB drives on each computer, is incorrect because performing clean installations on each computer individually would be extremely time-consuming for 50 computers and would require configuring each one separately. Option C, upgrade installation from the previous OS, is incorrect because upgrade installations assume there's a previous OS already installed, which wouldn't be the case for new computers. Option D, recovery partition restoration, is incorrect because recovery partitions are typically used to restore individual systems to factory settings, not for mass deployments of new computers. (15) A technician needs to install Windows on a new computer with a 4 TB hard drive. Which partition table should be used? A. Master boot record, MBR. B. GUID partition table, GPT. C. File allocation table, FAT. D. New technology, file system, NTFS. Do you know the answer? Correct answer, B. Guide partition table, GPT. Explanation. Option B is correct because GUID partition table, GPT, supports drives larger than 2 TB and is required for Windows boot drives exceeding that size. GPT also supports up to 128 partitions and is required for UEFI booting on modern systems. Option A, Master Boot Record, MBR, is incorrect because Master Boot Record, MBR, has a 2 TB maximum drive size limitation, making it unsuitable for a 4 TB drive that will be used as a boot device. Option C, File Allocation Table, F8, is incorrect because File Allocation Table, F8, is a file system, not a partition table type. Option D, New Technology File System, NTFS, is incorrect because New Technology File System, NTFS, is a file system, not a partition table type. 16. A user downloads an application for macOS that comes as a DMG file. After double-clicking the file, what is the most common next step to complete the installation? A. Run the installation wizard. B. Drag the application icon to the Applications folder. C. Enter the administrator password. D. Extract the files to the desktop. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer, B. Drag the application icon to the Applications folder. Explanation. Option B is correct because most macOS applications distributed as DMG files use the drag-and-drop installation method. After double-clicking the .dmg file, it mounts as a virtual disk and typically displays a window showing the application icon and a shortcut to the applications folder. The user completes installation by dragging the application icon to the applications folder. Option A, Run the installation wizard, is incorrect because installation wizards are typically associated with .tpkg files, not DMG files. Option C, Enter the administrator password, is incorrect because while administrator authentication might be required for some installations, it's not the immediate next step after opening a DMG file. Option D, Extract the files to the desktop, is incorrect because extracting files to the desktop is not part of the standard macOS application installation process. 17. A Mac user needs to securely erase a hard drive and create new partitions. Which built-in macOS utility should they use? A. Finder. B. Time Machine. C. Disk Utility. D. Activity Monitor. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer: C. Disk Utility. Explanation: Option C is correct because Disk Utility is the built-in macOS application specifically designed for disk management tasks, including formatting, partitioning, erasing drives, creating disk images, and verifying or repairing disks. Option A, Finder, is incorrect because Finder is the file management application in macOS, equivalent to File Explorer in Windows, but doesn't have disk formatting or partitioning capabilities. Option B, Time Machine, is incorrect because Time Machine is macOS's backup utility, not a disk management tool. Option D, Activity Monitor, is incorrect because Activity Monitor displays system resource usage, CPU, memory, disk network, but doesn't provide disk formatting or partitioning functions. 18. A company needs to secure their data center from unauthorized physical access. Which combination of security measures would provide the most comprehensive protection? A. Security cameras and door locks. B. Badge readers and security guards. C. Access control vestibule, biometric verification and video surveillance. D. Key fobs and motion sensors. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer: C. Access control vestibule, biometric verification and video surveillance. Explanation: Option C is correct because it implements multiple layers of security. An access control vestibule, man-trap, prevents tailgating by allowing only one person through at a time. Biometric verification ensures only authorized individuals can enter by using unique physical characteristics. And video surveillance provides monitoring and recording of all access attempts. Option A, security cameras and door locks, is incorrect because provides basic security, but lacks strong access control and authentication mechanisms. Option B, badge readers and security guards, is incorrect because offers good security elements, but lacks the physical barrier that an access control vestibule provides against tailgating. Option D, key fobs and motion sensors, is incorrect because provides authentication and detection, but lacks the human oversight of guards and the tailgating prevention of an access control vestibule. 19. An IT administrator is implementing the principle of least privilege within their organization. What is the most accurate description of this security principle? A. Users should have strong passwords that are changed frequently. B. Users should only be given the minimum access rights needed to perform their job functions. C. all user accounts should require multi-factor authentication. D. Administrators should use separate accounts for administrative and regular tasks. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. B. Users should only be given the minimum access rights needed to perform their job functions. Explanation. Option B is correct because the principle of least privilege specifically means giving users only the minimum level of access rights they need to perform their job functions. This reduces the potential damage from compromised accounts and minimizes the attack surface. Option A, users should have strong passwords that are changed frequently, is incorrect because describes a password policy, not the principle of least privilege. Option C, all user accounts should require multi-factor authentication, is incorrect because describes multi-factor authentication, which is a different security concept focused on verifying identity. Option D, administrators should use separate accounts for administrative and regular tasks, is incorrect because describes privilege separation, which is related but distinct from the principle of least privilege. A small accounting firm wants to set up a secure wireless network that balances security and compatibility with their mix of new and slightly older devices. Which security protocol and encryption method would be most appropriate? A. UEP with RC4 encryption. B. WPA with TKIP encryption. C. WPA2 with AES encryption. D. WPA3 with TKIP encryption. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. C. WPA2 with AES encryption. Explanation. Option C is correct because WPA2 with AES encryption provides strong security while maintaining compatibility with most devices manufactured in the last decade. This combination offers an excellent balance between security and compatibility for a small business environment. Option A, WEP with RC4 encryption, is incorrect because WEP is completely broken and should never be used in any environment, regardless of compatibility concerns. Option B, WPA with TKIP encryption, is incorrect because while WPA with TKIP would provide compatibility, it uses outdated encryption that has significant security vulnerabilities. Option D, WPA3 with TKIP encryption, is incorrect because WPA3 doesn't support TKIP encryption, and WPA3 requires AES. This combination doesn't exist in practice. 21. A large university needs to implement a wireless network where thousands of students and faculty will authenticate with their unique university credentials. Which authentication method would be most appropriate for this environment? A. WPA2, personal with a shared passphrase. B. WPA2, enterprise with radius integration. C. WPA3 personal with a complex password. D. WEP with MAC address filtering. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. B. WPA2 enterprise with radius integration. Explanation. Option B is correct because WPA2 enterprise with radius integration provides centralized authentication for large numbers of users with individual credentials. This setup allows the university to manage access control through a central database and integrate with existing user management systems. Option A, WPA2 personal, with a shared passphrase, is incorrect because WPA2 personal uses a single shared password for all users, which would be impractical and insecure for thousands of users. Option C, WPA3 personal with a complex password, is incorrect because, like Option A, WPA3 Personal still uses a single shared password, which doesn't provide the individual accountability needed in a university environment. Option D, WEP with MAC address filtering, is incorrect because WEP is completely insecure and should never be used. Additionally, MAC address filtering alone is easily defeated and impractical to manage for thousands of users. 22. A user reports that they can no longer access any of their documents, and all files have a new extension ending encrypted. They also find a text file demanding payment in cryptocurrency to restore access. What type of malware is most likely affecting this system? A. Spyware. B. Rootkit. C. Trojan. D. Ransomware. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. D. Ransomware. Explanation. Option D is correct, because ransomware is malware that encrypts a victim's files, changing their extensions, often to something like encrypted, and demands payment, usually in cryptocurrency, for the decryption key. The ransom note with payment instructions is a classic indicator of ransomware. Option A, spyware, is incorrect because spyware secretly gathers user information, but doesn't typically encrypt files or demand payment. Option B, rootkit, is incorrect because rootkits are designed to gain unauthorized access while actively hiding their presence, not to encrypt files and demand payment. Option C, Trojan, is incorrect because while Trojans appear legitimate but contain malicious code, they don't typically encrypt all user files and demand payment as their primary function. 23. A technician has confirmed that a computer is infected with malware. What should be the first step in the malware removal process? A. Run antivirus software. B. Disconnect the computer from the network. C. Update virus definitions. D. Boot into safe mode. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. B. Disconnect the computer from the network. Explanation. Option B is correct because immediately disconnecting an infected computer from the network is the critical first step after confirming malware. This quarantine prevents the malware from spreading to other systems, stops any data theft in progress, and blocks the malware from communicating with command and control servers. Option A, to run antivirus software, is incorrect because running antivirus software should only happen after isolating the system and disabling system restore. Option C, update virus definitions, is incorrect because while updating virus definitions is important, it should be done after isolating the system to prevent further damage. Option D, boot into safe mode, is incorrect because booting into safe mode is part of the remediation process, which comes after isolation and disabling system restore. 24. A user receives a call from someone claiming to be from the company's IT department, stating their account has been compromised and they need to verify their credentials immediately. The caller seems to know some company details. What type of attack is this? A. Phishing. B. Vishing. C. Whaling. D. Spoofing. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. B. Vishing. Explanation. Option B is correct because vishing, voice phishing, uses phone calls to trick people into revealing sensitive information by impersonating trusted entities. This scenario shows the classic vishing characteristics: phone-based communication, impersonation of IT support, creating urgency, and requesting credentials. Option A, phishing, is incorrect because phishing specifically uses email or messages, not phone calls. Option C, whaling, is incorrect because whaling targets high-profile individuals like executives, not regular employees. Option D, spoofing, is incorrect because spoofing refers to disguising communication to look like it's from a trusted source, which may be part of this attack, but doesn't describe the overall method being used. 25. At a secure facility, a person dressed as a delivery worker with arms full of packages waits at the entrance door. When an employee badges in, the delivery person asks them to hold the door open. What type of social engineering attack is this? A. Tailgating. B. Impersonation. C. Shoulder surfing. D. Dumpster diving. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer: A. Tailgating. Explanation: Option A is correct because tailgating involves following an authorized person into a secure area without proper authentication. The scenario describes someone using props, packages, and social courtesy to gain unauthorized physical access without using their own credentials. Option B, impersonation, is incorrect because while the attacker is dressed as a delivery person, the primary technique is following someone through a secure door, not just impersonating someone. Option C, shoulder surfing, is incorrect because shoulder surfing involves observing someone enter sensitive information, not gaining physical access. Option D, dumpster diving, is incorrect because dumpster diving involves searching through trash for sensitive information, which isn't happening in this scenario. 26. A company issues laptops to employees who frequently travel with sensitive data. Which security feature should be implemented to protect the data if a laptop is lost or stolen? A. Windows Defender. B. BitLocker. Drive encryption. C. User account control. UAC. D. Windows Firewall. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer: B. BitLocker. Drive encryption. Explanation: Option B is correct because BitLocker provides full disk encryption that protects all data on a drive, even if the laptop is lost or stolen. Without the recovery key or authentication method, the encrypted data remains inaccessible, even if the drive is removed and connected to another system. Option A, Windows Defender, is incorrect because Windows Defender is an antivirus, anti-malware solution that protects against malicious software, but doesn't encrypt data to protect it when a device is physically compromised. Option C, User Account Control, UAC, is incorrect because UAC only helps prevent unauthorized changes to system settings by prompting for permission. It doesn't protect data if a device is stolen. Option D, Windows Firewall, is incorrect because Windows Firewall protects against network-based threats, but doesn't provide protection for data if a device is physically compromised. 27. A small business wants to secure computers that are used by multiple employees throughout the day. Which of the following is the best practice to implement? A. Create one administrator account that all employees share. B. Create individual standard user accounts for each employee. C. Create one standard account that all employees share. D. Disable password requirements for convenience. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer: B. Create individual standard user accounts for each employee. Explanation: Option B is correct because creating individual standard, non-administrator, accounts for each employee provides accountability, allows for proper access control, and follows the principle of least privilege. Standard accounts can't make system-wide changes, reducing security risks. Option A, create one administrator account that all employees share, is incorrect because sharing administrator accounts creates significant security risks and eliminates accountability since actions can't be traced to specific users. Option C, create one standard account that all employees share, is incorrect because while using standard accounts is better than shared administrator accounts, sharing any account eliminates accountability and doesn't maintain separation between users' data. Option D, disable password requirements for convenience, is incorrect because disabling password requirements would allow anyone to access the computers without authentication, creating a major security vulnerability. 28. A company issues laptops to employees who frequently travel. Which combination of security measures would best protect sensitive data if a laptop is lost or stolen? A. Password complexity requirements and account lockout policies. B. BitLocker encryption, BIOS password, and screen lock timeouts. C. Disabling auto-run and using standard user accounts. D. Firewall configuration and antivirus software. Do you know the answer? Correct answer, B. BitLocker encryption, BIOS password, and screen lock timeouts. Explanation. Option B is correct because this combination provides multi-layered protection for a mobile device. BitLocker encryption makes the data unreadable, even if the drive is removed. A BIOS password prevents booting the system without authorization, and screen lock timeouts ensure the system locks automatically when not in use, preventing access if the laptop is left unattended. Option A, password complexity requirements and account lockout policies, is incorrect because provides account security, but doesn't protect the data if the drive is removed from the laptop. Option C, disabling auto-run and using standard user accounts, is incorrect because helps prevent malware infections, but doesn't protect data if the laptop is stolen. Option D, firewall configuration and antivirus software, is incorrect because focuses on network-based threats rather than physical theft or loss scenarios. 29. An IT technician is setting up workstations for a company's accounting department. Which user account configuration follows the principle of least privilege? A. Create administrator accounts for all users so they can install software. B. Create one shared administrator account for the entire department. C. Create standard user accounts for daily use with a separate administrator account for IT staff. D. Create standard accounts, but share the administrator password with all users for convenience. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. C. Create standard user accounts for daily use with a separate administrator account for ITE staff. Explanation. Option C is correct because it follows the principle of least privilege by giving users only the permissions they need for their daily work. Standard accounts prevent users from making system-wide changes that could compromise security, while maintaining a separate administrator account for IT staff allows for legitimate system maintenance when needed. Option A, create administrator accounts for all users so they can install software, is incorrect because gives users excessive permissions, creating unnecessary security risks. Option B, create one shared administrator account for the entire department, is incorrect because creates a shared account that eliminates accountability and increases security risks. Option D, create standard accounts but share the administrator password with all users for convenience, is incorrect because undermines the security benefit of separate account types by sharing the administrator password. "30. A company allows employees to use their personal smartphones for work email and documents. Which security approach is most appropriate for protecting company data while respecting employee privacy? A. Require employees to enable full device encryption and give IT full remote wipe capability. B. Implement a containerization solution that separates work data from personal data. C. Have employees use web-based email only with no downloaded documents. D. Install tracking software that monitors all activities on the device. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. B. Implement a containerization solution that separates work data from personal data. Explanation. Option B is correct because containerization creates a separate, encrypted space for work data that can be managed independently from personal content. This approach allows the company to secure and remotely wipe only company data if needed, while respecting the privacy of the employee's personal information on their own device. Option A. Require employees to enable full device encryption and give IT full remote wipe capability is incorrect because giving IT full remote wipe capability on a personal device is overly intrusive and could result in the loss of personal data. Option C. Have employees use web-based email only with no downloaded documents is incorrect because web-based email alone provides insufficient protection for sensitive company data and limits productivity. Option D. Install tracking software that monitors all activities on the device is incorrect because monitoring all activities on a personal device is an invasion of privacy and likely violates privacy regulations. Struggling with your IT certification exams? We've all been there. Welcome to MyITCerts.com, your ultimate resource for IT exam success. Find over 15,000 plus questions and answers. Join our thriving community of over 10,000 plus active students and an impressive 100% success rate with our premium exam support. Visit MyITCerts.com today and take first step towards guaranteed success. 31. An employee reports that their company's smartphone containing sensitive client information has been stolen. What should be the first security action taken? A. Report the theft to the police. B. Change the employee's network passwords. C. Use the device locator application to track the phone. D. Send a remote wipe command to the device. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. C. Use the device locator application to track the phone. Explanation. Option C is correct because locating the device should be the first step, as it may still be possible to recover the phone. Using the locator application provides valuable information about whether recovery is possible before taking more drastic measures like remote wiping. Option A. Report the theft to the police is incorrect because while reporting to police is important, it doesn't directly address the immediate security risk to the data on the device. Option B, change the employee's network passwords, is incorrect because changing network passwords doesn't protect the data already on the device. Option D, send a remote wipe command to the device, is incorrect because while remote wiping may eventually be necessary, it should not be the first action before attempting to locate and potentially recover the device. 32. A healthcare organization is replacing several hard drives containing patient medical records. Which of the following data destruction methods would provide the highest level of security, while also providing necessary documentation for regulatory compliance? A. Low-level formatting, followed by standard formatting. B. 7-pass wiping using Gutmann method. C. Using a third-party certified destruction service that provides shredding. D. Drilling holes through each drive and recycling the components. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. C. Using a third-party certified destruction service that provides shredding. Explanation. Option C is correct because a certified third-party destruction service not only provides high-security shredding, but also supplies certification of destruction documentation, which is crucial for regulatory compliance in healthcare. HIPAA requirements. This provides both the physical destruction needed and the legal documentation to prove compliance during audits. Option A, low-level formatting followed by standard formatting, is incorrect because formatting, even low-level, doesn't completely remove data and provides no documentation for compliance purposes. Option B, 7-pass wiping using Gutmann method, is incorrect because while 7-pass wiping is secure, it doesn't provide the certification documentation needed for regulatory compliance that a third-party service would offer. Option D, drilling holes through each drive and recycling the components, is incorrect because while drilling can be effective for physical destruction, it doesn't provide the formal documentation needed for regulatory compliance and may not be as thorough as professional shredding. 33. A company is donating 30 laptops to a local school. The laptops were used for general office work and don't contain highly sensitive information. What is the most appropriate data sanitization method to prepare these laptops for donation? A. Standard formatting of the drives. B. Multi-pass wiping software followed by operating system reinstallation. C. Physical destruction of the hard drives and installation of new drives. D. Degaussing each drive before reinstalling the operating system. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. B. Multi-pass wiping software followed by operating system reinstallation. Explanation. Option B is correct because multi-pass wiping provides good security while allowing the drives to be reused with a fresh operating system. This balances security and practicality for equipment that will be donated and reused while properly removing company data. Option A, standard formatting of the drives, is incorrect because standard formatting doesn't actually remove data. It only removes the file table, leaving data recoverable with basic recovery software. This isn't secure enough even for non-sensitive business data. Option C, physical destruction of the hard drives and installation of new drives, is incorrect because physical destruction is excessive for non-sensitive data and would require purchasing new drives, making the donation process unnecessarily expensive and wasteful. Option D, degaussing each drive before reinstalling the operating system, is incorrect because degaussing only works on magnetic media. Traditional HDDs would render many modern laptop drives, especially SSDs, unusable and is overkill for non-sensitive data in a donation scenario. 34. A small accounting firm has just set up a new wireless network for their office. The IT technician wants to ensure the highest level of wireless security for their client financial data. Which of the following wireless encryption settings should they implement? A. UEP with a complex 26-character password. B. WPA with TKIP encryption. C. WPA2 with a simple 8-character password. D. WPA3 with a strong 16-character password. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. D. WPA3 with a strong 16-character password. Explanation. Option D is correct because WPA3 provides the strongest current wireless encryption standard available, and pairing it with a strong 16-character password ensures maximum security. WPA3 improves upon previous encryption methods with stronger authentication and protection against various attacks. Option A, WEP with a complex 26-character password, is incorrect because WEP is an outdated encryption protocol that is extremely vulnerable. Even with a complex password, WEP can be cracked in minutes using readily available tools. No matter how complex the password, WEP itself is fundamentally insecure. Option B, WPA with TKIP encryption, is incorrect because WPA with TKIP is an older protocol with known vulnerabilities. While better than WEP, it's still considered insecure by modern standard and should be avoided when better options are available. Option C, WPA2 with a simple 8-character password, is incorrect because although WPA2 provides reasonable security, the simple 8-character password makes it vulnerable to brute force attacks. Password strength is just as important as the encryption protocol itself. (35) A remote worker needs to access their office computer from home. What is the most secure method to configure their small office router to allow this access? A. Enable UPnP and let the remote desktop software configure access automatically. B. Set up port forwarding using standard port 3389 to the office computer. C. Configure a VPN server on the router and access the computer through the VPN. D. Place the office computer in a DMZ screen subnet. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer, C. Configure a VPN server on the router and access the computer through the VPN. Explanation. Option C is correct because setting up a VPN creates an encrypted tunnel for all communications. With a VPN, the worker can securely connect to the entire office network first, then access the computer within that private network without exposing any services directly to the internet. Option A. Enable UPnP and let the remote desktop software configure access automatically is incorrect because enabling UPnP is a security risk. It allows applications to automatically open ports in your firewall, potentially creating security vulnerabilities that malware could exploit. UPnP should generally be disabled in security-sensitive environments. Option B. Set up port forwarding using standard port 3389 to the office computer is incorrect because standard port forwarding exposes a service directly to the internet and uses the well-known default port for remote desktop 3389, which is frequently targeted by attackers. This makes it vulnerable to brute force attacks and exploits. Option D. Place the office computer in a DMZ/screened subnet is incorrect because placing a computer in a DMZ/screened subnet removes most firewall protections for that device. While the rest of the network would remain protected if this computer were compromised, the computer itself would be directly exposed to internet threats. 36. A small business owner needs to install Chrome on a new office computer. Which of the following represents the most secure approach to downloading and installing the browser? A. Download from a third-party software site that offers faster download speeds. B. Download directly from google.com/Chrome and verify the file's hash. C. Install from a copy stored on a shared USB drive used by multiple employees. D. Download whatever version appears first in search engine results. Do you know the answer? Correct answer, B. Download directly from google.com/Chrome and verify the file's hash. Explanation. Option B is correct because downloading directly from the official website, google.com/Chrome, ensures you get the genuine browser directly from its developer. Verifying the file's hash adds an additional security step that confirms the file hasn't been tampered with during download. Option A. Download from a third-party software site that offers faster download speeds is incorrect because third-party download sites may bundle unwanted software, provide outdated versions with security vulnerabilities, or distribute modified versions with malware. Option C. Install from a copy stored on a shared USB drive used by multiple employees is incorrect because files stored on shared USB drives can be infected with malware, and there's no guarantee the version is current or unmodified. Option D. Download. Whatever version appears first in search engine results is incorrect because search results can be manipulated or led to fake sites mimicking official ones. The top result isn't necessarily the official or secure source. 37. A user receives a browser certificate, warning stating, "Your connection is not private," when trying to access their bank's website. Which of the following is the most appropriate action? A. Click Proceed anyway, since the warning is probably just a temporary glitch. B. Install a browser extension that automatically bypasses certificate warnings. C. Check the URL carefully and do not enter any sensitive information on the site. D. Disable HTTPS checking in the browser settings to prevent future warnings. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. C. Check the URL carefully and do not enter any sensitive information on the site. Explanation. Option C is correct because certificate warnings indicate a potential security issue with the connection. The user should first check if the URL is actually their bank's legitimate website and not a phishing attempt. Regardless of the cause, sensitive information should never be entered on a site with certificate errors. Option A. Click Proceed anyway, since the warning is probably just a temporary glitch, is incorrect because bypassing certificate warnings, especially for banking sites, is extremely risky. The warning could indicate a man-in-the-middle attack or phishing attempt. Option B. Install a browser extension that automatically bypasses certificate warnings is incorrect because automatically bypassing certificate warnings removes an important security feature designed to protect users from potentially compromised connections. Option D. Disable HTTPS checking in the browser settings to prevent future warnings is incorrect because disabling HTTPS checking would severely compromise security for all websites, leaving the user vulnerable to various attacks, including data interception and phishing. 38. A user reports that their computer frequently displays a blue screen with a memory_management error code, followed by an automatic restart. The issue began after installing new RAM modules. Which of the following should be the first troubleshooting step? A. Reinstall Windows using the Reset This PC option. B. Run System File Checker, MSFC, to repair corrupted system files. C. Remove and reseat the new RAM modules. D. Roll back the most recent Windows update. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. C. Remove and reseat the new RAM modules. Explanation. Option C is correct because the blue screen error specifically mentions memory_management, and the problem started after installing new RAM. This strongly suggests a hardware issue with the RAM installation. Reseating the modules might resolve loose connections or incorrect installation, which is a simple first step before considering more complex solutions. Option A. Reinstall Windows. Using the Reset This PC option is incorrect because reinstalling Windows is an extreme measure that should only be considered after hardware issues are ruled out. This would be unnecessarily time-consuming and disruptive when the issue is likely hardware-related. Option B. Run System File Checker, SFC, to repair corrupted system files is incorrect because while SFC can fix corrupted system files, the error code and timing after RAM installation point to a hardware problem rather than corrupted system files. SFC would not address physical memory issues. Option D. Roll back the most recent Windows update is incorrect because the problem correlates with a hardware change, new RAM installation, rather than a Windows update. Rolling back updates would not resolve issues caused by hardware changes. 39. A technician is troubleshooting a Windows computer that takes an unusually long time to boot. After checking Task Manager, they notice that disk usage remains at 100% for several minutes after reaching the desktop. Which of the following is the most likely cause of this problem? A. Insufficient RAM installed in the system. B. Too many startup programs launching at boot. C. CPU overheating causing thermal throttling. D. Network adapter driver conflicts. Do you know the answer? Correct answer, B. Too many startup programs launching at boot. Explanation. Option B is correct because high disk usage, 100%, that persists after boot typically indicates excessive I/O operations, most commonly caused by too many programs trying to start simultaneously. These programs compete for disk resources, causing the slowdown while maintaining high disk usage in Task Manager. Option A, insufficient RAM installed in the system, is incorrect because insufficient RAM would primarily show as high memory usage rather than high disk usage. When RAM is insufficient, you might see high disk activity due to paging, but this would typically show high memory usage first. Option C, CPU overheating causing thermal throttling, is incorrect because CPU thermal throttling would manifest as reduced CPU performance, lower processing speeds, rather than high disk usage. CPU issues would show high CPU utilization or low CPU speeds, not necessarily disk bottlenecks. Option D, network adapter driver conflicts, is incorrect because network adapter driver conflicts would typically cause networking issues, not sustained high disk usage. Network problems would more likely manifest as connectivity problems or network-related error messages. 40. A user reports that whenever they open their web browser, they are redirected to a search engine they never set as their homepage. They also notice new toolbars in their browser that they didn't install. Which of the following is the most likely cause of these symptoms? A. The router's DNS settings have been compromised. B. Windows Update has failed to install security patches. C. A browser hijacker has infected the system. D. The SSL certificates for websites have expired. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. C. A browser hijacker has infected the system. Explanation. Option C is correct because the symptoms of homepage redirection and unwanted toolbars are classic indicators of a browser hijacker infection. Browser hijackers specifically target browser settings to redirect users to particular search engines and install additional toolbars without permission. Option A, the router's DNS settings have been compromised, is incorrect because while compromised DNS settings could cause redirection, they wouldn't typically install browser toolbars, which indicates software running on the local system, rather than network-level redirection. Option B, Windows Update has failed to install security patches, is incorrect because failed Windows updates might leave security vulnerabilities, but don't directly cause browser redirections or add toolbars. These symptoms require active malware to be present on the system. Option D, the SSL certificates for websites have expired, is incorrect because expired SSL certificates would cause security warnings when visiting HTTPS websites, but wouldn't change the browser's homepage or add toolbars to the interface. (41) After cleaning malware from a computer system, which of the following should be the last step in the remediation process? A. Enable system. Restore and create a new restore point. B. Update antivirus definitions and scan the system again. C. Reboot the system to ensure malware is completely removed. D. Disable system. Restore to prevent reinfection. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. A. Enable system. Restore and create a new restore point. Explanation. Option A is correct because enabling system restore and creating a new restore point should be done only after confirming the system is clean of malware. This establishes a known good recovery point (NINT) that can be used if future issues arise. System restore is typically disabled during malware removal to prevent reinfection from infected restore points. Option B, update antivirus definitions and scan the system again, is incorrect, because updating antivirus definitions and scanning again should be done during the malware removal process, not as the final step. This helps ensure the system is clean before creating new restore points. Option C, reboot the system to ensure malware is completely removed, is incorrect because rebooting the system is typically done during the remediation process to ensure complete removal, but it's not the final step. Additional confirmation and system protection measures should follow reboot. Option D, disable system. Restore to prevent reinfection is incorrect because disabling system restore is done before beginning malware removal, not as the last step. After successful cleaning, system restore should be re-enabled with a new clean restore point. 42. A technician is beginning to address a suspected malware infection on a company computer. Which of the following should be the first step in the malware removal process? A. Update antivirus software and run a scan. B. Boot the computer into safe mode. C. Investigate and verify malware symptoms. D. Disable system. Restore. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. C. Investigate and verify malware symptoms. Explanation. Option C is correct because investigating and verifying malware symptoms is the first step in the CompTIA malware removal process. This ensures you're actually dealing with malware rather than another issue and helps identify which type of malware you're facing, guiding your response strategy. Option A, update antivirus software and run a scan, is incorrect because updating antivirus software and running a scan comes after investigation, quarantine, and disabling system restore. It's part of Step 4, remediate infected systems, in the CompTIA process. Option B, boot the computer into safe mode, is incorrect because booting into safe mode is a remediation technique that should be used only after confirming malware presence, quarantining the system, and disabling system restore. It's a specific technique within Step 4 of the process. Option D, disable system restore, is incorrect because disabling system restore is the third step in the CompTIA malware removal process. It should be done after investigating symptoms and quarantining the system, but before attempting removal. 43. A technician has confirmed that a computer is infected with ransomware. What should the technician do next? A. Run Windows system. Restore to a point before the infection. B. Disconnect the computer from the network. C. Begin malware scanning in safe mode. D. Enable system. Restore and create a clean restore point. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. B. Disconnect the computer from the network. Explanation. Option B is correct because after confirming malware, Step 1, quarantining the infected system by disconnecting it from the network is the critical second step in the CompTIA malware removal process. This is especially important with ransomware, which can spread to other systems and network drives. Option A, run Windows system. Restore to a point before the infection is incorrect because running system restore would be counterproductive at this stage. System restore should actually be disabled. Step 3, before removal attempts to prevent reinfection from potentially infected restore points. Option C, begin malware scanning in safe mode, is incorrect because scanning should only occur after quarantine and disabling system restore. Malware scanning is part of Step 4, remediate, in the CompTIA A process, not Step 2. Option D, enable system restore and create a clean restore point, is incorrect because enabling system restore and creating a clean restore point should be done much later in the process, Step 6, after successful malware removal. Doing this before removing the malware would create infected restore points. 44. A user reports that whenever they tap on a specific gaming app, it shows the loading screen briefly and then immediately closes. The issue started after the most recent OS update. What is the first troubleshooting step the technician should take? A. Factory reset the device. B. Clear the app's cache and data. C. Check for app updates in the App Store. D. Uninstall and reinstall the application. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. C. Check for app updates in the App Store. Explanation. Option C is correct because checking for app updates is the simplest and least disruptive first step. After an OS update, apps often need to be updated to maintain compatibility with the new OS version. The App Store would show if an update is available that addresses compatibility with the recent OS update. Option A, factory reset the device, is incorrect because a factory reset is an extreme measure that should only be considered after exhausting all other troubleshooting options, not as a first step. This would delete all user data and installed apps. Option B, clear the app's cache and data, is incorrect because while clearing cache and data can fix app issues, it's more disruptive than simply updating the app since it removes saved settings and may require logging in again. This should be tried if updating doesn't resolve the issue. Option D, uninstall and reinstall the application, is incorrect because uninstalling and reinstalling is more time-consuming and disruptive than updating, and should only be attempted if simpler solutions fail. It would also remove any saved data within the app that isn't backed up. (45) A smartphone user complains that their battery, which previously lasted all day, now drains to 20% by noon with the same usage pattern. Which troubleshooting step would be most effective in diagnosing this issue? A. Immediately perform a factory reset. B. Check battery usage statistics to identify power-consuming apps. C. Replace the battery without further diagnosis. D. Disable all applications on the device. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. B. Check battery usage statistics to identify power-consuming apps. Explanation. Option B is correct because checking battery usage statistics allows you to identify which specific apps or services are consuming unusual amounts of power. This diagnostic step helps pinpoint the exact cause without disrupting the user's device or data and guides further targeted troubleshooting. Option A, immediately perform a factory reset, is incorrect because performing a factory reset immediately is far too extreme for an initial troubleshooting step. This would erase all user data and should only be considered after less disruptive methods have been exhausted. Option C, replace the battery without further diagnosis, is incorrect because replacing the battery without proper diagnosis is premature and may not address the actual issue. Since the problem appeared suddenly with the same usage pattern, it's more likely to be software-related than hardware degradation. Option D, disable all applications on the device, is incorrect because disabling all applications is unnecessarily disruptive and doesn't help identify which specific app might be causing the drain. This would render the device largely unusable when a more targeted approach is available. 46. A corporate IT technician notices a company-issued Android phone is using significantly more data than usual, even when not actively being used. Which of the following is the most likely security concern? A. The battery is failing and needs replacement. B. The device contains malicious apps sending data in the background. C. The cellular carrier. Do you know the answer? Is incorrectly measuring data usage. D. The phone's operating system needs to be updated. Correct answer. B. The device contains malicious apps sending data in the background. Explanation. Option B is correct because unusually high data usage, especially when the device isn't being actively used, is a classic symptom of malicious apps sending data in the background. This could indicate spyware transmitting personal information, malware communicating with command servers, or compromised apps uploading data without permission. Option A, the battery is failing and needs replacement, is incorrect because a failing battery might cause power-related issues like unexpected shutdowns or rapid battery drain, but wouldn't directly affect data usage patterns. Option C, the cellular carrier is incorrectly measuring data usage, is incorrect because while carrier measurement errors can occur, they're rare and wouldn't be the most likely explanation for consistently high data usage, especially when correlated with periods of device inactivity. Option D, the phone's operating system needs to be updated, is incorrect because while outdated operating systems may have security vulnerabilities, simply needing an update wouldn't directly cause increased data usage. The high data usage is more likely the result of malicious activity already on the device. 47. A user reports their Android phone has several apps they don't remember installing, and advertisements frequently appear even when no apps are open. What is the most appropriate first step in addressing this security concern? A. Perform a factory reset immediately. B. Identify and uninstall the suspicious applications. C. Disable Wi-Fi and mobile data connections. D. Install additional antivirus software. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. B. Identify and uninstall the suspicious applications. Explanation. Option B is correct because identifying and removing suspicious apps directly addresses the immediate security threat, while being less disruptive than a factory reset. The symptoms described, unknown apps and ads outside of applications, strongly suggest adware or malicious applications that should be removed promptly. Option A, perform a factory reset immediately, is incorrect because performing a factory reset immediately is overly disruptive and should be considered only after less drastic measures have been attempted. This would cause data loss and is unnecessary if simply removing the malicious apps would resolve the issue. Option C, disable Wi-Fi and mobile data connections, is incorrect because while disabling network connections might temporarily prevent the malware from communicating or displaying network-based ads, it doesn't remove the underlying threat and severely limits device functionality. Option D, install additional antivirus software, is incorrect because installing additional security software before removing already identified threats doesn't address the immediate problem. The priority should be removing the known suspicious apps first, then considering additional security measures. 48. A help desk technician is creating a ticket for a user experiencing issues with their laptop. Which of the following pieces of information would be most important to include in the device information section of the ticket? A. The user's job title and department. B. A description of what the user was doing when the problem occurred. C. The device's make, model, and asset tag number. D. The estimated time to resolve the issue. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer, C. The device's make, model, and asset tag number. Explanation. Option C is correct because the device's make, model, and asset tag number are essential device information that helps technicians identify the specific hardware, access relevant documentation, and track the asset in the organization's inventory system. This information belongs in the device information section of a ticket. Option A, the user's job title and department, is incorrect because the user's job title and department are important information but belong in the user information section of a ticket, not the device information section. Option B, a description of what the user was doing when the problem occurred, is incorrect because a description of what the user was doing when the problem occurred belongs in the problem description section of a ticket, not the device information section. Option D, the estimated time to resolve the issue, is incorrect because the estimated time to resolve the issue is related to ticket prioritization or service level agreements and isn't part of device information. This would typically be determined after initial assessment of the problem. 49. A company needs to implement a system to track all IT equipment throughout its lifecycle, from purchase to disposal. Which of the following would be most effective for this purpose? A. A ticketing system for recording user problems. B. A spreadsheet listing current equipment. C. An asset management database with procurement lifecycle tracking. D. A network topology diagram showing equipment locations. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer, C. An asset management database with procurement lifecycle tracking. Explanation. Option C is correct because an asset management database with procurement lifecycle tracking is specifically designed to monitor assets throughout their entire lifecycle, from initial purchase through deployment, maintenance, and finally disposal. This provides comprehensive tracking capabilities needed for complete asset management. Option A, a ticketing system for recording user problems, is incorrect because a ticketing system is primarily designed to track and resolve user-reported issues, not to manage the lifecycle of equipment. While ticketing systems may integrate with asset management, they don't provide the full lifecycle tracking needed. Option B, a spreadsheet, listing current equipment, is incorrect because although a spreadsheet can list equipment, it lacks the robust features needed for lifecycle management, such as automation, multiple user access, integration with other systems, and sophisticated reporting capabilities. Spreadsheets are also difficult to maintain for large inventories. Option D, a network topology diagram showing equipment locations, is incorrect because a network topology diagram is a visual representation of how network devices are arranged and connected. While useful for understanding network infrastructure, it doesn't track the procurement lifecycle of equipment, and typically only includes network devices, not all IT assets. 50. A technician plans to upgrade the operating system on a critical server during a weekend maintenance window. Which of the following should be created first in the change management process? A. Sandbox testing environment. B. End user acceptance document. C. Change board approval request. D. Detailed rollback plan. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer, D. Detailed rollback plan. Explanation. Option D is correct because a detailed rollback plan should be created first to ensure there's a safety net in place before any changes are implemented. The rollback plan documents exactly how to return the system to its previous state if problems occur, which is especially important for critical systems like servers. Option A, sandbox testing environment, is incorrect because while sandbox testing is important, it should be performed after developing a rollback plan to ensure there's a recovery strategy in place before any testing begins. Option B, End User Acceptance Document, is incorrect because End User Acceptance comes much later in the process, after the change has been tested and implemented. Creating this document first would be premature. Option C, Change Board Approval Request, is incorrect because while Change Board approval is necessary, the approval request should include details about the rollback plan and testing results. Requesting approval without first creating a rollback plan would be incomplete. You have reached the end of our question set. For the complete exam preparation experience, visit us at MyITCerts.com, where you find thousands more practice questions and comprehensive study guides. You can study completely free using our study materials and questions and ace your exams with confidence. Thank you for studying with us today. See you in the next video.